Have you ever wondered what it actually looks like inside the black box when two completely different artificial intelligences try to predict human behavior, like day by day in a foreign market?
Oh, it's fascinating because we tend to think of trend predicting AIs as these, flawless, omniscient oracles.
Right, exactly. You feed them a terabyte of raw data, and they just effortlessly spit out this perfect blueprint of the future.
But the reality is much messier. I mean, what if we programmed two algorithms with drastically different philosophies of human nature and we just, sat back and watched them fight it out in real time?
It totally flips how we usually think about AI. And that friction is the core mission of today's deep dive.
Yeah, it really shatters that illusion of the perfect machine pretty quickly, because when you force an algorithm to predict what millions of people are going to care about next week, you aren't just testing computational power.
Right, you're testing its core assumptions about human psychology.
Exactly. Like, do we act based on predictable routines, or are we just endlessly reacting to the chaos around us?
Well, we've gotten our hands on an exclusive, localized research data log from a group called Team AI Lab to figure that out.
It's incredible data.
It really is. It tracks a single work week, June 1st to June 5th, 2026. And we are going to follow two competing trend intelligence units as they attempt to navigate the highly unpredictable Japanese market.
It's quite the showdown.
In one corner, we have the steady Rhino Titans.
Yeah.
And in the other, the volatile Falcon arrows.
But before we dive into the data, we really need to establish our rules of engagement here.
Good call.
I want to be incredibly clear for you listening.
Yeah.
This is not a financial advisory session.
Yeah.
We are not sharing secret codes to predict future market profits, nor are we, telling you where to put your money.
Right. Absolutely not.
This is purely a post hoc analysis. It is a shared research log designed to bridge the Japanese language barrier so we can actually study algorithmic behavior.
Yeah, we're strictly observing trend intelligence, looking backward at how these two specific models adapted to a single chaotic week in the past. So we have this Monday to Friday narrative march. Two AIs, two entirely different strategies for parsing human intent. And looking at the architecture of these models, I mean, the contrast is stark.
Oh, completely night and day.
I want to look at the Rhino Titans first. Their programming makes them act like these steady, silent giants. From Monday to Friday, their deployment strategy was just unapologetically anchored to the calendar.
Highly structured. I mean, Rhino's underlying algorithm doesn't care about breaking news at all.
Really?
Yeah, it weights its predictions heavily toward historical cyclical data. It's looking for seasonal repetition.
Right, and it definitely shows in their targets. Like on Monday, they zeroed in on World Cup searches.
Which is a highly predictable sports cycle.
Exactly. But Tuesday is where their strategy gets really fascinating to me. They targeted the term shareholders' meeting.
Ah, yes.
To a Western listener, that might seem totally random, but mid-June in Japan is the absolute peak season for corporate shareholder meetings, just due to how their fiscal year aligns.
Rhino simply bet that a predictable wave of people would be, searching for voting rights and schedules.
And they continued that steady march all week. Wednesday, they tracked government benefit payment.
Makes sense.
Thursday was mid-year gift giving, known as Ochugen.
Right, which is a deeply ingrained cultural tradition in Japan where people send gifts to those who have helped them.
And then Friday, they targeted the very straightforward Father's Day.
Rhino is essentially operating like a farmer.
A farmer, I like that.
Yeah, it looks at the almanac, sees what season it is, and calmly plants the crops it knows will grow.
Right. But then Falcon Arrows operates on a totally different frequency. If Rhino is the farmer, Falcon is built to act like a storm chaser.
Just driving a reinforced truck straight into unpredictable lightning strike.
Exactly. Falcon's algorithm parses real-time velocity. It catches these volatile air currents.
Falcon is hunting for friction. The code is looking for sudden spikes in volume that suggest an immediate reactive societal shift.
And you can really see that urgency in their targets. Like on Monday, Falcon locked onto electricity bill.
Because price revisions and early summer heat were driving a huge wave of public anxiety.
Yeah. And then on Tuesday, their algorithm targeted bug.
Literally insects.
Literally insects. June in Japan brings high humidity and rising temperatures, so Falcon detected a sudden surge in people trying to contain tests.
Interesting.
Wednesday was national holiday, basically detecting people suddenly scrambling to figure out when they could catch a break. Thursday was electric fan.
Very reactionary.
Very. And by Friday, Falcon just swung for the fences, tracking the deep macroeconomic anxiety of a financial bubble.
So we basically have structural inevitability versus raw urgency.
Right. But looking at the Monday and Tuesday data, I have to question Falcon's logic a bit here.
Oh.
Yeah, if their entire model is built to chase what is urgent right now, why did their real-time tracking plummet so early in the week?
The numbers dropped it.
Massively. By Monday, Falcon tracked a term called hometown tax, which, for context, is this unique Japanese system where people donate to rural towns in exchange for local goods and tax credits.
Right, for Sato Noze.
Yeah. You would assume people are always eager for tax breaks, but Falcon's tracking for it plunged by over 72%.
Oh, wow.
And their primary target on Tuesday, electricity bill, dropped by nearly 66%.
That's a huge drop.
If everyone is stressed about utility prices, why did the AI completely misfire?
Well, it's because Falcon's algorithm fundamentally misunderstands the difference between raw search heat and sustained trend momentum.
Okay, unpack that for me.
It is a trap that humans fall into all the time, and Falcon is basically just mirroring that flaw. Real-time signals can be incredibly deceptive.
Because they flare up and disappear.
Exactly. Falcon was acting like a highly sensitive smoke detector. It is built to scream the second it senses a fire, like a sudden news headline about electricity prices.
Right.
But the algorithm can't tell the difference between a house fire and someone just burning their toast.
Ah, I see. So 1,000 people read an article about utility hikes, they panic search it once, and then they go back to work.
Exactly. The heat evaporates almost immediately because it doesn't require sustained action.
Right.
Rhino avoided that trap by tracking behaviors that require a process, like researching, selecting, and buying a Father's Day gift. You don't just do that in 5 seconds.
Which perfectly sets up the sheer volatility we saw later in the week when Rhino actually did track a real-time event.
Oh, the typhoon keyword.
Yes. They had an active mission tracking Typhoon, and this illustrates just how wild search velocity can get.
Oh.
On June 1st, interest in the Typhoon was sitting at a staggering positive 670.7%.
A profound jump for a single 24-hour period.
And it didn't stop there. On June 2nd, the interest didn't just spike, it exploded by a staggering positive 1,813.7%.
Wow.
Just off the charts heat. But here's the mechanical reality. Day by day, that heat steadily faded.
Right, as the storm passes.
Exactly. Down and down until by Friday, June 5th, it had settled back to around positive 320.1%.
Still high, but a massive drop from 1,800.
Right. And it shows how it's very easy for an AI to look like an absolute genius when its target keyword is up 1,800% on a Tuesday.
Oh, for sure.
But tracking a spike is only half the battle in trend intelligence.
Sure.
What happens when the initial panic dies down?
Well, the real test isn't the spike, it's the hangover.
Right. And a Team AI lab measures that using what they call the Mission Completed Report.
Which is essentially a 10-day trend outcome.
Yeah, they grade the AI not on the initial panic, but on what remains after a 10-day cooling off period.
And in the field of trend intelligence, we call that decay attrition.
Attrition, okay.
Surviving the 10-day time lag is the absolute crucible for any predictive model. Anyone or any algorithm can spot a sudden spike on a social media feed.
Sure, it's just raw volume.
But surviving that 10-day window separates a fleeting news flash from an actual sustained shift in human behavior.
That makes a lot of sense.
Think about how you use a search engine. You see a terrifying headline about inflation and you panic search it immediately. That is raw heat.
Yeah, I've definitely done that.
They all do. But by next Friday, you aren't still searching for inflation data. You are searching for how to fix your broken electric fan.
Because it's immediate.
Exactly. That drop-off is attrition.
And the data clearly shows who understood attrition and who became a casualty of it.
Oh, Falcon definitely struggled here.
Let's look at the units that failed to maintain a positive win after that 10-day lag. It was basically a bloodbath for Falcon's macroeconomic terms.
Total collapse.
Over 10 days, Falcon's attempt to capture these sweeping societal issues completely fell apart. Weak yen, which is a persistent financial reality, dropped by negative 13.6%.
Right.
El Nino fell by negative 51.1%.
And they even targeted dark part-time jobs, didn't they?
They did, and it suffered a 100% total collapse. Zeroed out.
Wow.
And to clarify for you listening, dark part-time jobs, or yamibeito, refers to this rising issue in Japan involving illicit, sometimes dangerous gig economy schemes recruited via social media.
Which makes for very flashy, alarming news headlines.
Exactly. But as a sustained search trend, it completely zeroed out over 10 days.
The 10-day lag just ground all of Falcon's ambitious targets to dust.
But then we look at the survivors. These are the specific keywords that maintained a positive trajectory after the 10-day lag, proving they had actually adapted to the market.
But ate it through.
Rhino successfully nurtured bonus payment, maintaining a positive 4.6% win.
Nice.
Resident tax held strong at positive 15.1%.
Okay, very practical.
And start of rainy season survived with a massive positive 94.9% gain.
Incredible.
Meanwhile, out of all their chaotic storm chasing, Falcon managed only a single surprising survivor.
Which was?
Photo retouching. It eked out a positive 7.8% gain.
I think we really need to pause and look at that list of survivors. Bonus payment, resident tax, start of rainy season, photo retouching.
See, I have to push back on the logic here.
Go ahead.
Because looking at those results, the market feels completely irrational. I mean, weak yen is an ongoing massive financial crisis for a country that imports as much as Japan does.
Absolutely.
It affects the price of everything, from gasoline to groceries. How does a structural economic issue like the weak yen lose out in search momentum to something as trivial as photo retouching or start of rainy season? Just doesn't make sense.
I know, it seems irrational until you filter it through the actual psychology of daily human behavior.
Okay, how so?
The core hypothesis we can draw from this data is that over a 10-day lag, abstract news concepts suffer severe attrition because the public's attention span resets.
Even for big economic issues.
Especially for them. The weak yen is profoundly important, yes, but it is abstract. It is a macro concept. You might read an article about it on your commute, but what are you going to actively do about it on a Tuesday afternoon?
Right. You can't really do anything. You just, I don't know, absorb the stress and move on.
Precisely. The terms that survive the 10-day lag are deeply practical, immediate, and personal.
So a macro concept loses momentum to immediate realities.
Right. I have to pay my resident tax right now. I need to know when my bonus payment clears right now. It is raining outside, so I need to know about the start of rainy season right now.
And for Falcon's one win.
Yeah, in Falcon's one successful case, I am posting a picture on social media, and I need a software utility for photo retouching right now. Practicality survives, abstraction dies.
Wow. Okay, so if peacetime favors the steady calendar, you would assume Rhino sailed to an easy victory by Friday.
You'd think so.
But looking at the broader market environment, it reveals just how difficult it is for an AI to gauge the mood of a country.
Right, because Falcon was out there deploying heavy, anxiety-driven terms.
Yeah, they had tax reduction, which ended up staying negative around 24%, and they had bubble, hunting for this widespread economic crash anxiety.
They were basically looking for a structural turning point in the market.
Exactly. Falcon's underlying code assumed the public was in a state of high alert. It weighed the velocity of news alerts and just assumed systemic panic.
But this post-hoc analysis gives us a really wonderful sense of scale. Despite the intense heat around terms like typhoon early in the week, the sheer dominance of Rhino's predictable, seasonal terms proves that the Japanese market was actually experiencing peacetime.
Peacetime, right?
People were far more focused on buying mid-year gifts and figuring out Father's Day than they were obsessing over a looming economic bubble.
It is a perfect illustration of the gap between what the media broadcasts and how citizens actually spend their time.
Completely.
But here is where we really have to give the algorithm some grace. It is so easy for us to sit here with a completed data log and boldly declare, ah yes, it was clearly peacetime.
Hindsight is 20/20, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But these models had to make those calls blindly without any guarantees about the future. Trend intelligence is a brutally difficult puzzle because the AI has to decide if today's panic is tomorrow's forgotten news or the start of a revolution.
And if the algorithm guesses wrong, the season standings will punish it severely.
Let's actually look at those standings because the trajectory of these two teams over just 5 days is a complete roller coaster.
Oh, it's wild.
Falcon arrows, because their model kept hunting for a turning point during peacetime, remained entirely trapped in attrition.
They couldn't get out of the red.
Not at all. They spent the whole week fluctuating between negative 186.7% and negative 264.2%. They just couldn't catch a break.
They burned all their computational energy chasing storms that kept fizzling out into nothing.
But then we have Rhino Titans. Based on their cyclical strategy, Rhino had a legendary run well until the model hit a wall.
Right, the wall.
They started the week on Monday at an already impressive positive 6,035.6%.
Very strong start.
And by Tuesday, June 2nd, they peaked at an astronomical positive 16,326.7%. Just an absolute commanding lead.
They perfectly mapped the seasonal friction of the Japanese public.
But then comes the drop. By Friday, June 5th, Rhino's massive lead plummeted all the way down to positive 2,952.9%. Yeah, they took a heavy negative 42% hit on their humidity keyword, and the momentum of their other terms simply waned.
It happens.
They lost over 13,000 percentage points in 3 days. So from an analytical perspective, do we view this week as a catastrophic failure for Rhino's algorithm?
Absolutely not. And this is vital to understanding Team AI Lab's unyielding research philosophy.
Okay.
In this space, a severe drop is not a defeat. It is a highly valuable stepping stone for the next algorithm update.
Oh, so?
Look at the mechanics of what happened. Rhino over-leveraged seasonal predictability. The code assumed that because it was early June, humidity would be a guaranteed sustained win.
Right, because it's June in Japan.
Exactly. But human behavior isn't perfectly cyclical. Maybe it rains slightly less than historical averages. Maybe a large percentage of households already bought their dehumidifiers last year and didn't need to search for new ones.
Ah, so the algorithm essentially got too confident in the calendar and ignored the nuances of real human friction.
Right. It exposes the absolute boundaries of their model. But in the world of trend intelligence, every single percentage point of attrition is vital data.
So they learn from it.
Team AI Lab will take that 13,000-point drop, analyze exactly why those cyclical terms lost their momentum, and use it to adjust the weight in the intelligence model for the future. You don't build a better AI by watching it succeed perfectly. You build it by mapping exactly where and how it fails.
That's a great way to look at it. Well, we have covered a lot of ground today.
We really have.
We've followed a fascinating week-long march, watching the silent, steady farmer rhino vastly outpace the volatile storm chaser Falcon.
It was quite the race.
We learned the mechanics of attrition, seeing how deeply practical personal human needs, like paying a resident tax or checking the weather, survive the 10-day attention lag so much better than abstract news panics about the yen.
It's all about immediate realities.
Exactly. And we saw how an AI processes a peacetime market, proving that sometimes the most intelligent prediction you can make is just knowing what holiday is coming up next.
It provides a remarkable glimpse into how machines are learning to interpret us. But I want to reiterate as we conclude, out of respect for your professional curiosity.
Yes, the disclaimer.
Right. While observing this intelligence game is fascinating, the real-world application of any market data requires immense caution.
Absolutely.
We have been looking at a closed environment, analyzing a specific slice of time in the past. Any final investment or operational decisions you make in your own life based on any market trends are strictly your own responsibility. The actual market is not a simulation. It is real life with real consequences.
A perfect reminder. And to wrap up our deep dive today, I want to leave you with one final, slightly provocative thought to mull over.
Oh, let's hear it.
We saw today that over a 10-day time lag, mundane, practical needs completely outlasted macroeconomic panics. The news of the weak yen faded from search bars, while the start of the rainy season survived.
It's true.
It makes you wonder, if we stretch this intelligence model from a 10-day lag to a 30-day or even a 90-day horizon, what else would fade away?
That's a great question.
Are the vast majority of our daily anxieties, the breaking news alerts we stress over, just algorithmic noise, while underneath it all, we just predictably march to the steady, quiet beat of the calendar?
Something to think about the next time you frantically check your news feed.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and keep exploring.